Namaskar, I am Tilak Datta. This is the second part of the introduction to my book release, A Tryst with Mahakaal, the Ghost Who Never Died. Since the last video, which was uploaded a month ago, many questions have come in from viewers across several platforms. I will address them in subsequent sessions. Before I proceed, I'll repeat one point that Gumnami Baba, Santji, Mahakaal, Bhagwanji are the same person. The names are interchangeable. More and more people now believe that this was the same person as Subhas Bose. Now, the first point I'll make today, Mahakaal or Gumnami Baba did not provide any comprehensive treatise or doctrine, 1, 2, 3, 4 guidelines, which would give us an indication what were his thoughts. Most of his sayings, in fact, are scattered over innumerable transcribed talks taken by his followers and letters spread over 2 decades. And the range of these sayings is from on war. He's spoken extensively on war, Indo-China relations, Chinese scheming. Then you've got talks about yoga, the interface between science and spirituality, an injunction to keep a safe distance from every modern political party. This is emphasized again and again. Then he's talked of karmic law, reincarnation, communism, socialism, Islam, metaphysics, ontology, the nature of vibration, a model village and how to sustain that village, UFOs, Raja Yoga, Tantra, many, many more. The range and scope of his observations is absolutely mind-boggling and very unique. My book, so this is my book. This is the book in which I attempt to retrieve or highlight some of these sayings and coded injunctions and apply them to our present times. How would these ideas fare in today's India? So in subsequent videos, I will deal with this, discuss my book section by section, and I'll highlight Mahakaal's sayings within the dramatic narrative, linking them to today. Now, since the last upload, a number of people have written to me saying, this is only a work of fiction. That's quite right. But if you would notice, as I pointed out in the last upload too, there's a continuous matching of many things which I have written in the book and today's headlines, event by event. They are being corroborated. The latest being the Indus Water Treaty dispute between Pakistan and India, which is heated up again. And this is exactly in the same order as written in my book. So it's your call. If you wish to treat this as only a work of fiction, fine. But if you think it's something more, please pay cognizance. Because I am certain that events as they come, they will be in a spiral. We will be swept under. It will leave us little time to debate the trivia which dominate today's headlines. At that point, I can assure you, this subject will go viral. So let's get back to the book. Please note that this is basically Leela Biswas's story. The two main protagonists are Leela and her cousin and mentor, Bharat Biswas, who is 20 years her senior. Bharat is somebody who is inspired by Mahakaal, Santji, Gumnami Baba. He interacts with him and he quietly puts some of these ideas as he understands them into practice and helps in bringing about a small and novel village town which can withstand any calamity, which is self-sufficient, and it can withstand even a modern war. Now, while doing this, he comes into constant friction with politicians and also with rebel power bases within his region, wherever he works in India. So his own cousin, that's Leela, contests his belief in this nameless saint right through the book, right down to the wire, till actually war breaks out and sweeps over them. Now, Bharat. So I'll take Bharat first. The name I've taken from Bharatvarsha. In real life, I have come across a few versions of Bharat. and I found that they are working in diverse fields against steep odds. Each such Bharat that I have seen or known has a few of the many attributes that I have used in shaping this fictional character. Only a very small portion is autobiographical. In real life, these Bharats are usually they keep away from politics. And if they don't, they either harbor a belief in communism, or they are Gandhian, or they are stoic RSS workers. The belief is immaterial. The point I wish to make is such Bharats are almost always marginalized, they are used and they are discarded within the past structure of their individual belief systems. What happens then? They pick themselves up and silently go on doing their work till their last breath. This is what they are made of. This is their core. So my Bharat is, this is his type, and he is an almost extinct variation of this species because he follows an unknown immense force called Mahakal. But Bharat Biswas in my book also makes a fundamental mistake of not confronting those who are out to physically destroy his world. So de facto, he becomes an exemplar of ahimsa in defending himself or his work, while all the time he hides his secret belief in Bhagwanji or Mahakal. This is a vital contradiction which is emphasized in the book. About Leela Biswas, I have taken the name directly from the legendary feminist leader, late Leela Roy, who has been deeply linked with Subhas Bose's life as well as with the Gumnami Baba saga. I thought if she were to be reborn today in a fractured family and kept away from her real heritage, this is how she would rebel and question all beliefs. And yet, she would stake her everything for a man called Mahakal who saved her in a forest when she was on the verge of being killed. This is the version I have in the book. I have also encountered versions of Leela in action in India. Once again, fragmented, tormented, fighting for her dignity against unbelievable odds as an organic farmer in Kodagu in Coorg, or a simple domestic self-exiled from Bengal. Numerous such avatars of Leela have I met. Coming back to the situation today, as I see it, for a majority of those fans who follow the Gumnami Baba saga, I see that it has become some kind of a whodunit, a suspense story or a mystery to be solved and closed out. It's become a sort of time pass entertainment. To put it bluntly, if Bhagwanji actually appeared in disguise today and demanded a certain disciplined or austere way of life from these audiences, I wager that he would find very few truly committed followers on the ground. This is the bitter truth. Two typical questions from viewers, therefore, which came to me. First, did Bhagwanji or Mahakal die in 1985, or is he still hibernating in the Himalayas in some mythical place called Gyanganj? Second question was, will he reappear via a divine intervention to solve all our problems? So I'll deal with these questions in later sessions, but for now, if I accept also this last poser as a reality or a possibility, my counter is, do we ourselves have nothing to do? Are we to just sit back and vegetate while some such Superman flies in from the Himalayas and performs his miracles? Or do we just shed a tear after reading books on this subject or seeing a film on Bhagwanji's known tragic life, and then we go back to business as usual? No? This is the point to note. It is important because it emphasizes one of the basic challenges facing my book. I mentioned last time that I am not a Subhas Bose follower. But then, with my focus on Bhagwanji, Mahakal, Gumnami Baba, this name is inseparable from Bose's name. It has become clear to me over the years that most educated people have turned their back on the Subhas Bose story itself ages ago. During the past decades, there have definitely been some really tenacious and determined initiatives by dedicated individuals to crack this, to reach the core of the Subhas Bose Gumnami Baba imbroglio. As I see it, it's been a thankless and really backbreaking task for those who have stuck to it. As a result, the subject has gone mainstream at times, But still, the awareness levels in India and certainly abroad are very low. I've experienced that Subhash Bose is not an acceptable currency in circulation, especially in the Western world. So there are no real benefits and gains if one wishes to push this cause. That's what people look for. For many people, there's often an absolute reluctance to engage in a conversation on anything related to this. Yeah, most intellectuals as I have seen, have deep inbuilt prejudices across the political spectrum about Subhash Bose. They have made up their minds. No amount of new data, no revelations will make them look at this subject afresh. Or what I see is there will be plenty of Jai to Netaji, Netaji Zindabad, greatest son of Mother India, and these kind of expressions on the social media. But will the same people launch a do or die agitation all over India that all the intelligence files about Subhash Bose's fate and Gumnami Baba must be disclosed? I would say a big no. It hasn't happened. In several decades, I think there are hardly any crusaders or stormtroopers, so to say, for Subhash Bose today. What to say of some unknown Gumnami Baba? Most of the politicians find no gain in backing this cause. Despite the enormous evidence at hand that Subhash Bose lived on beyond 1945, even now, today's politicians continue to tick the box, Subhash died in an air crash in 1945, or maintain a diplomatic, I would say a cowardly silence. They don't give a damn about what researchers have to say. The biggest reason for this situation is that there is no live connect between the Subhash Bose Gumnami Baba story and our current time and issues. No contemporary relevant paradigm. This is what I have tried to address. This lacuna is what I have addressed in my book. History has taught to us, all these days is Subhash Bose, great leader, aligned with Hitler and the Japanese, solely to win freedom for India. But to date, this shaking of hands with Hitler is largely projected as a stigma. What's worse, since he ended up on the losing side, history was written differently, or else we would have, I think, a completely different set of war criminals from the same World War, from Churchill downwards. In fact, if you notice, by the late 1960s already, how were we talking about him? What is the point of discussing Subhash Bose? He would be such an old man. He was a tired person if alive. What can he do today? Or he must have been killed in Siberia, that sort of thing. Or people repeat today, please put this Bose thing to rest, for heaven's sake, this is so boring. At the same time, we have an actual quote from Gumnami Baba from 1963. He said, it would be foolish to imagine that the public would rally around him in case he chose to re-emerge in public. The revolutionary spirit was dead. Hardly anybody would stand by him over time as undaunted supporters. This was in 1963, and it's the same now. So he knew. Subhash Bose never built himself a popular political base to safeguard his future as a career politician. Please keep this fact in mind. If he had a clear roadmap to take India forward, this has not become as well discussed or known as compared to, say, Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar, Vallabhbhai Patel, and so on. Quite simply, he was blacked out by design. The fact is, the masses then and now accepted the soft option, swallowing the lie that we got our freedom without firing a shot solely through ahimsa. This is what my book is facing. So where is Subhash Bose's vision today? If this is his fate, who on earth will be inspired by some Mahakal? Even if a compelling case be made out that indeed he was a transformed Subhash Bose, I submit that it is only those who are young in mind and body, who are fresh, who are unbiased, who care for Mother Earth and Mother India, it is they who will draw any motivation from Mahakal's words and guideposts when they, like we are today, they are at the crossroads in 2020. A tryst with Mahakal did not take place in 1947. What we got was a tryst, a compromised one, a tryst with destiny, via an epic slaughter of millions during the partition of our country. My book shows how and when Mahakal's time will come. Now, a quick closing word. This subject, Mahakal, Gumnami Baba, when I first heard about this through Mission Netaji, And the link was, there were a number of documents on their site about my grand uncle, Foreign Secretary Subimal Dutt's role in the Subhash Bose papers post 1945. So that led to an introduction. And Anuj and Chandrachud, following this, in fact, introduced me to Sri Bijoy Nag and Dr. Madhusudan Pal in Calcutta. In 2009, I met them all, 2012 again, and I've been in touch with all of them till date. I am grateful to everyone that the cooperation they have provided over the years. However, while I have a great respect for their pioneering work and tenacity, I should underline the fact that I do not share several of their key beliefs and conclusions. I'm talking about Mission Netaji and the others. That will be all for now. I hope to do a question and answer session or sessions in future, which will be available on several channels, including my own YouTube channel, which I will be launching soon. I hope I will see many of you there. Bye for now. Take care. Namaskar.